Halfway between Brisbane and Sydney, the Bellingen River weaves its way through some of the most pristine country in New South Wales. So imagine the shock when in February, hundreds of dead and dying turtles unique to that river started washing up on its banks. The fact that they'd survived there for more than 20,000 years made the loss even more devastating and puzzling. What followed was an unprecedented multi-agency response, along with state and Commonwealth agriculture labs and 6 universities across Australia, all trying to solve the mystery. David O'Shea reports.
Filtered through the World Heritage Dorrigo National Park, water doesn't get much cleaner than this. That's why the sudden demise of the Bellingen River snapping turtle was so confusing to locals, like farmer Darcy Browning.
Almost all my life I've lived on this river and spent a lot of time on the river. And of course in all that time I've never seen anything quite like this. I mean, there's always been a healthy number of turtles, never ever seemed to be any variation up or down, and then suddenly out of nowhere emerges something like this. Where we're standing here at the moment is just one short section of the river where I found over 20 dead or dying turtles, washed up on the bank or crawled up onto the grass or just laying dead on the bank. It was so sudden, and the numbers, I couldn't believe that there would have actually been that many turtles in such a short distance.
Darcy says up and down this valley, people were left scratching their heads.
I mean, what is it? Could it cross over to other species? Could it cross over to humans? Come on.
Another local, Josh Marr, also found many dead and dying turtles where once they lived happily.
If you'd come down here, you'd see turtles popping their heads up all over the place, sitting on the logs and the rocks.
He's now a volunteer diver, helping scientists map the river fauna. Underwater, everything appears normal, apart from the lack of turtles.
The river seems in really good health. Lots of fish, lots of life in there. Everything seems healthy, everything seems happy. It's just the one species of turtle which has seemed to having a bit of a hard time.
As soon as the incident occurred, Josh and other quick-thinking locals helped get 26 sick turtles to Sydney, where veterinary pathologist Dr. Carrie Rose began diagnostic tests.
The animals that we received were alive. They had horrific lesions to their eyes. Some of the animals were paralysed and were unable to move. They were dragging their back legs along, but uniformly they were all going like this with their flippers, so their eyes were incredibly uncomfortable. It was a little bit stressful. I've really not been in the position to make a diagnosis before the species disappears. So it's been a very stressful series of events.
Known infectious diseases of aquatic wildlife and reptiles were ruled out.
We knew that we weren't dealing with something we know about. We had to be dealing with something new.
Tests revealed it was an acute infectious agent or virus, somehow introduced into the river system. Now scientific efforts are focused on how it got here and whether it remains. By now the breeding season should be in full swing, so the team is searching to see if any turtles survived the initial infection and taking samples from as many different aquatic species as possible, like the eastern water dragon.
What we're trying to do is look at the ecology of the virus and where it lives in the environment. We know that based on the explosive nature of the outbreak, that this is not a virus of this species of turtle. So we now need to go back and find out what species might have introduced it to them. It's the eyes, the mouth, and the cloaca. So just looking for evidence of the virus.
Straight to the bottom.
Not surprised. An introduced turtle species from the Murray-Darling system was unaffected by the virus. and there is no difficulty finding them here today.
That was about 7 metres. That's another Emidura macquarii, an adult male.
We need to find out whether they're carrying the virus, whether they've been exposed and recovered, or whether perhaps behaviourally they just weren't eating the same things or weren't in the same environment and didn't get exposed to the virus.
Another Emidura.
Oh, fantastic. So again, the kidneys were another site of predilection for the virus, so we're trying to get the urinary tract here.
Then the news they've been hoping for. One of the divers has found a snapping turtle.
This is the species we're after. This is Mycetes georgesii, probably 2 to 3 years old, so this animal probably would have been in the river when the disease went through earlier this year.
Soon there's more. It seems there may be hope after all.
You know, we'd be looking anywhere between 2 to 3 year olds.
So they have actually lived through the incident as well?
Yeah, it looks like it, so we're going to be happy with that. It's hard to say, but yeah, they look healthy.
Busy production line you're running here?
It's a busy day, which is good news.
Finding turtles who appear to have lived through the disaster is a significant development. It raises new questions about whether interbreeding with the introduced species may have made them immune or better able to fight the infection. At the end of the survey, the results for the species sound quite positive. Are you surprised to be finding so many? Or is this not many?
No, actually we were surprised yesterday. We had quite a few as well, and I think it's a very pleasant surprise.
16 suspected georgesii turtles, and it's 11 juveniles, which are too young to be sexed, probably about 2 to 3 years old. And then we have 5 adults.
Sadly, the snapping turtle is not the only species in this country facing disease outbreaks which threaten their very survival.
Unfortunately, they're becoming more and more common. We've been kept on the go with back-to-back and simultaneous outbreaks since December of last year. So we're involved in 7 simultaneous wildlife disease outbreaks right now.
At this secret facility, 16 healthy turtles are being held in a quarantined captive breeding program. Survival for these vulnerable animals is a battle at the best of times. Foxes ransack 95% of their nests. And there's the added danger now of poachers searching for that rare pet. But the main focus remains finding out whether the virus persists in the Bellingen River system. If and when it gets the all clear, their offspring could be able to go home.